Miklișoara, in the Hungarian-speaking area of Carpathia, is a small village near Barault. I've come here to meet Transylvanian Count Tibor Kalnoky, who is transforming the local community by converting disused homes into traditional guest houses and offering visitors the chance to step back in time. The next morning, Tibor and I took a trip to the even more remote village of Zalampatag, where he's been working closely with His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales to restore several properties as examples of how rural tourism can benefit local communities without impacting on the environment. One thing about Romania that I always find surprising is you drive down these roads in the middle of nowhere and you come to these little pockets of civilization.
And then you have something like this.
And you have something like this at the end of it. Tell me, Tibor, why did the Prince of Wales fall in love with this particular place? I mean, I can see it's very beautiful, but why here?
I suppose it is because it's a place where the local population still lives in total harmony with the environment, with nature. And it is not complete and total wilderness like up in the mountains. It is actually handmade, but it is the perfect cohabitation of man with nature.
Walking up through fields of orchids along the edge of the tree line, you are completely immersed in the natural world. I never dreamt that I would actually see bears in the wild outside of Bearhide, but here was a sight I'd been hoping for all along. Proof that man has yet to ruin this pristine and innocent landscape. This is incredible. I can't believe my luck. Look. This is why the Carpathian forests, mountains and villages need to be preserved in all their untamed glory. Not just for the benefit of future generations, but to ensure the survival of Europe's most endangered carnivores. On the last leg of my journey, to meet one of Carpathia's greatest crusaders, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales.
The key thing I think about Romania, and Transylvania in particular, is that there's so much we can learn from, it seems to me. It is the last corner of Europe where you see true sustainability and complete resilience and the maintenance of entire ecosystems for the benefit of mankind, and also for nature. And there's so much we must learn from that before it's too late, I think.
So presumably this is why it's so important to preserve it for the future.
Well, I think so, but people will say, oh, well, she's just trying to preserve things in aspic, and you're trying to prevent progress and so on. But you'd think by now we might have learned a few lessons from the things that have gone wrong with an agri-industrial approach to everything. Because the great thing, it seems to me, about Transylvania is the combination of natural ecosystems, the forests and the agricultural areas, together with the human cultural systems. And it's this extraordinarily unique, integrated relationship, which is of such huge importance. Once you pull it all apart, you're left with something which can just be exploited without being treated in a sustainable way, if you see what I mean. Because if you cut down great swathes of the Carpathian natural forest, you're actually destroying one of nature's great services to the rest of mankind in terms of carbon sequestration.
Given the fact that the rise of industry and agriculture has led to the almost total destruction of the Great Forest of Caledon here in Scotland, do you think that there's a way of stopping the same thing from happening in Romania?
Well, we should be clever enough, wouldn't you think, by now, and wise enough to
We'd hope.
Some possible lessons to be learned in avoiding that from happening. But otherwise, if we just go on the same way, you end up with destruction occurring, and then people later on are saying, hang on a minute, you've got to try and put this back. What is the point of running into the proverbial brick wall, this time of such a painful sort, that by the time we realize that we have to redesign our food systems and put nature back at the heart of the whole process in order to provide us with what we take for granted, how are we going to be able to put it back? Yeah. So I think Transylvania is an absolutely key issue that has to be addressed.
What do you love the most about Romania?
It's the timelessness of it, which is so remarkable. And almost out of some of those stories one used to read as a child, it's quite remarkable. People are yearning for that sense of belonging and identity and meaning. And we have to rediscover some of these aspects of the way we produce food and live with and maintain and give back to nature if we are to make sure this whole system continues. And that's why human cultural systems matter, because they're intimately linked to that aspect of nature. It's in us, but we've somehow denied it and thrown it away and said it doesn't matter, it doesn't exist, it's irrelevant. It isn't irrelevant.
Nourishes the soul and the heart, absolutely.
That's what Romania does for you.
Prințul Charles, Altețea sa regală, viitorul rege al Marii Britanii, vorbește despre România, așa cum nu am văzut prea mulți oficiali, dacă nu cumva nu am văzut pe niciunul să vorbească la o astfel de manieră. Este îndrăgostit de România, spune în mod limpede și spune că inima, îți hrănește sufletul și inima România. Asta face România. Domnule Burcea, vreau să vă întreb, și nu sunt sub nicio formă vreun specialist în turism, dar așa cât pot să-mi dau seama de anumite evidențe, marea în momentul de față, sigur că este cu vreo 10 clase față de ce era marea acum câțiva ani de zile. Dar nu cumva România ar trebui să spargă orice fel de prejudecăți și orice fel de bariere cu lucruri unice pe care le are în momentul de față. Ceea ce înseamnă zona montană, ceea ce înseamnă Munții Carpați, ceea ce înseamnă, în opinia mea, Delta, Bucovina, locuri absolut spectaculoase